I want us to talk about inequality. South Africa is an equal country or society in the entire world. So if we speak about equality to replace unequal, so are we saying we want to be equal with our oppressor? We want to be equal with those who put us under servitude? Do you want to be equal with our colonizers? Then we need to take a lesson to some of the things the colonizers, the settlers, and the oppressors did to be where they are. They left a lot of dead bodies along the way to be where they are. They stolen a lot from people who are deemed as not important, especially from people of color. They have stolen a lot from them. To this day, they're still doing it. So if we're talking about being equal with them, it means we have to do the same. I say no, we can't. We are not the same as them, to be honestly. Because if you want to claim victory over a nation, then you have to put that nation under servitude. And that's not what build the nation is all about. Rather, we find the reason why, the common reason why there is inequality in South Africa. Inequality starts with the land. If one group of people, the dispossessed of land people, don't have their land, they don't own any land, then it's a problem. Because if you can look at South Africa has land mass, in fact, is 123 million hectares, whereas 82 million hectares controlled by settlers or white people in the farmland especially. So if they own that amount of land and 14% is owned by the government, so that tells you that 79% of this land is in the hands of white people. Only 4% is in the hands of blacks. And then the other 15% is in the hands of colored people, as they say. And the Indians and Chinese share 5% of it. So the land redistribution of the ANC government says they want to transfer at least 30% of land to the people. Let's look at Land Bank. Land Bank is owned and run by white people. They only have one acting judge in that institution, one black acting judge inside the whole lot of white people who are running that land bank. Minister of Agriculture is white. What do you think that man will do? Because he knows that many farmland, white people doesn't have papers. White farmers, especially Burus, they don't have papers that says they own that land. He's going to legitimize that. He's going to give them papers for those land. So if the issue is like that, and then they put PAC Nyonzo as a land reform, so this is just another way of saying you can go and fight with Minister of Agriculture for land, or you can agree to ensure that white people retain the land as it is. So you can see the man was actually trapped inside the spider web. So there is no way the land will be returned to South Africa with GNU policies, neoliberal policies. There is no way. So if you want to understand about the land and how the land can be redistributed back to the country, you need to go back to 1899 and 1902, and goes back to 1910 and 1913, and understand what was the reason there was Mbambata rebellion in 1906. So even Peter Groenewald put it clear. He said if black people of South Africa want the land, then they are proposing a civil war. That means until there is a civil war, it means there is no land that black people are going to get it back. According to Peter Groenewald of Freedom Front Plus, he said it inside the parliament, telling the entire country. It's not my words, it's his words. He said we are dreaming if we want the land. That is not going to happen. So whether we agree with him or we don't, at the end of the day, black people own no land. We have no land in our possession. We have no wealth in our possession. We are just immigrants in our own country. We are foreigners in our own country. And for us to change that, like I said often, Ramsa is the remedy to that. Only Ramsa has a solution to those issues of land. Because we cannot keep dancing, chanting, singing about our plight. That is really stupidity. If you cannot change our mindset about what we want and be precise about it, unfortunately, we will remain people whose agenda is to chant, sing, and march forward for our just to look good on media and on social media platforms. Look at Middle East. There is a war going on there. So whoever people who leave those places, especially who leave Israel, will come to South Africa. Because South Africa is South African white people are friends to Israel. DA, for instance, they support Israel. And then DA, they are the government in Western Cape. That means for those Israeli people who run away from Israel, they'll go straight to Western Cape, because that's the only place where they know they are safe. They can express themselves. So, okay, before you start praising your political leader, critical thinking is needed. Look at the people you are supporting. Just look at them. They tell you this, they do the other. They are pushing a political narrative that is unsound to massage you, where you'll feel better, you'll feel good about the speech he said. But what is the reality says? Black people don't own land. Black people are living in poverty conditions. Black people do not participate in the economy of this country. Those are the realities. And you don't need to be equal with anyone about that. as the indigenous people of this country, you need to stand up and become a player in these things. Be a player in the economy. Own the land and work the land. There's a lot of things that can be done with the land. A lot. So if you're still waiting to hear from your cult leader, cult political leader to tell you that they will bring some change to who? To where? There will never be change. These people failed dismally. All of them. They failed. They failed the people. They are getting paid. You are not getting paid. So why can't they say, okay, if they were genuinely about fighting for our freedom, they are in parliament, lining up their pockets, getting paid. Why they are not saying, okay, let's take this money and buy Pick n Pay? Because Pick n Pay is now closing a lot of companies, closing a lot of stores. Why they are not taking the money and buy Pick n Pay? Why they are not investing $1 billion per annum? So why they are not taking money and do that? They invest in their own economy, in the economy of South Africa. Why they are not do that? Because that doesn't serve their purpose, and that is not the reason. That is not what the imperialists want them to do. Just like entertainers, look at the celebrities. They make money. A lot of them make money, but that money is not invested in communities where these people come from, because the owners don't want that. Owners do not agree with someone whom they turn into elite to invest in their own communities. The war here is to make sure that black people are poor. They go nowhere in life. That is the bigger plan. Then the depopulation control, the project can work easy. Because if someone is hungry, it's easy to control that person with food in your hand. So that's what they do. They want to control us using food. They want to control us using media. They want to control us using whatever means they have, knowing for a fact that if they control food and they control water, they can tell you anything. For you to get that water, you'll have to agree to their terms. For you to get the food, you have to agree to their terms. He who feeds you controls you. Must remember that. But we have a land which we don't own. We have a land still in the hands of those who oppressed us before 1994. But we're saying proudly we have a democracy. What is it? What is a democracy without ownership of land and control of economy? It's like inheriting a drum, an empty drum. Yet expect that drum to bear you fruits. Let us wake up, black people. This is not 1960. It's 2024. Cannot believe in the rhetorics of politicians forever. Those people are liars, pathetic liars. They will lie just to get a bread on their table in your expense. I'm still saying Ramsa is the only future of this country. We don't talk politics, we don't lie, we only tell the truth. Our truth is about you getting in line, understanding what needs to be done and making a sound decision and follow through. That's what we say. Let's make sure we don't fail our next generation. Let's make sure we don't fail the next and the next generation. everybody hates the black skin. Now we become haters of self-haters because of we were conditioned to become like that. We need to get rid of that narrative. We need to get rid of that thinking. We don't have luxury to be hating to each other. We don't have luxury of fighting each other when there is a lot of enemies against us. All I can tell you is that we are a nation, and this nation must stand up and be accountable. This nation must rebuild itself.